The class of 2000 will become the next century's bankers and statesmen, parents and teachers. They'll make vital choices about our world. Before they do, they will learn about our world in a whole new way. This is the Classroom of Tomorrow, just opened today at Encinal High School in suburban San Francisco.
You are in charge.
The first place of its kind anywhere.
And we're taking luxury.
No walls, no classrooms. Computers are the textbooks, the science teachers, and the canvas on which kids create.
And then we're going to tie that into the computer.
So then it won't work.
And the teachers, well, they're now called facilitators. 5 teaching 96 students in grades 7 through 10. The goal, to create lifelong learners with a head start on the 21st century.
Hello, I'm Tom Kelly. I'm not a producer and this is not a set. This is the School of the Future in Alameda, California. And this video is all about students becoming lifelong learners. A very unique public-private coalition has created the environment in which to pursue that goal. The Alameda Unified School District and Arthur Andersen have worked together in partnership for nearly 7 years. And out of those efforts, new visions, best practices, new teaching methods, experimentation and assessment are going on throughout the Unified School District. And now here at the Arthur Andersen Community Learning Center, we have a wonderful technology environment in which the students can pursue their goal. I could tell you the story about how that works, but rather than tell you the story, let me show it to you.
It has to feel good in my heart. It has to feel good that it's good for kids, and that's where I'm feeling.
One of the parents said to me, I can see that my kid is excited about learning in a way I've never seen them be excited about learning.
6 or 8 months ago, we probably all would have said, I don't know if we could have done this. I don't know if we're going to make it. And we made it.
The hardest thing was to hold you together, that these bumps were normal in any change process.
Well, you keep on referring to as bumps. I mean, from your view, they look like bumps. From our view, it's the Himalayas.
We're doing a project for humanities, and I'm working on Premiere, which is where we're chopping all the clips up and putting it all together, and it's really nice. And I'd like you to watch all the little transitions, and I record it and I take it home every day and I show him. I'm like, look, Mom, this is what I did today, you know. And it's really nice to see her, like, she like just lights up, you know. I'm like, yeah, Mom, I did that.
I was really amazed that even just this summer with some of the new kids that are now coming in, because this is basically a 6-year program. Kids can join in quote-unquote the 7th grade and stay through 12th grade. Can you talk a little bit about some of the projects they worked on?
We did a great job this summer. This summer was fantastic. There was one team that was working on satellite, and what they did is they learned about how uplinks and downlinks work, and we have a satellite mounted right over there, and they took a little video and they beamed it up with a laser to the satellite, and then the satellite beamed it back down, and they have a downlink, and so they're able to move the picture over from the other side of the room down to a particular monitor based on where the laser would go. Another project was there was a Mars rover project where they actually had to use Legos to build a rover, and they loved the Legos and they tore them apart and made them, and then at the end of the first day we said, what do you have? And they said, well, we have this, and what can it do? I don't know. And then we got into really documenting exactly what it was they could do. They had to test it. What is the maximum speed? What is the maximum speed at a 10% incline? What about a 20% incline? What is the maximum incline this thing can go up to? So we had them test it, figure out everything that it can do, and then build another one and see if they can improve on certain areas.
Hey, pretty good for a history teacher.
Think of the math and the physics.
In the center, it's not really, you don't just learn like the skills like math and science and history and English. You also learn like how to use multimedia projects and how to use robotics and stuff like that. It doesn't just prepare you for college for like studying things just like reading, writing, arithmetic. It's actually for like jobs in like the 21st century workplace, like all this technology and all futuristic and stuff. So
the way that you learn here when you have like actual experience, it stays in your mind, because when it means something to you, it's going to stay with you longer.
If I'm interested in something, I can just go for it, you know. There's like no real boundaries here.
There's a lot of investment in technology and education now, but I really feel good about the use and the furthering, the exploration of knowledge that's going on here. I mean, they're really taking stuff off the internet, using it to increase communication, getting new knowledge, using traditional textbooks as a backup from the latest knowledge. It's my greatest fear of investment in technology, that it's not going to be used to expand horizons. It's going to be used as a replacement.
We could take all the technology out of here, and you would still have such a powerful learning environment just from the other things that are going on here.
Change relationships.
You know, it's changed. It helps.
I think the technology in here is so profound, it just changes the whole nature of this classroom. And without it, it just wouldn't be the same. I think technology is really fundamental to learning and collaboration in the future, because it allows us to be boundaryless. It allows us to get resources from everywhere. It just adds, I think, so much value that you wouldn't have. And also, the technology can be part of the teacher, interactive teacher with the kids.
Yeah. Facilitator sort of sparks the match, or starts it going, and then we take the project to that next level, and we are in charge of our own learning.
the facilitators are like your coach or something. Instead of like telling you what to do, they like let you do your own thing, and then they're like just backing you up, and they're just like they're there in case you get stuck.
They're taking much more of a guiding role, and even if I try to ask them a question, they won't tell it to me straight. They will always they'll ask me questions like, oh, what do you think? Or they would ask me, oh, how can I get the answer, and things like that. So they won't, instead of like just telling it to me, they give me the tools in order for me to find out on my own.
One of the questions clearly is, how do we know this is working?
We have an assessment program, and we gave the test in the fall, and we gave it in the spring.
And that's for all kids throughout the whole district?
Every kid 2 through 10 is tested in the district twice a year to measure growth, because as a parent and as an educator, we want to make sure that we are improving performance of youngsters. And the center kids are performing at twice the rate of kids in a traditional setting in grades 7 through 10.
Some of the work we've done in looking at the future of assessment in the business world, we realized that assessment had to become part of the performance itself. So what we're looking to see is the evolution in the center of the assessment really becoming part of the learning process, where self-assessment becomes one of the most important things that students can learn.
Last year, when I first got here, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, and I just fool around all day. And then I'd start failing classes, and of course that's not good. And I realized that you can't do this. It's not gonna work. And then like near the end of the year, I started like really getting into it. And then this year came back, and I just started doing all my work. Like every single thing. And then everyone's like, man, Mike's a nerd this year. Or like John was like, what they do to you? Did they hypnotize you or something? And I was like, no, I just like figured that I need to get this done. If I wanna go anywhere in life, then I need to get self-motivated, because if not, then I'm just in big trouble. I'm not gonna get anything done.
Normal school, you don't really want to talk to your parents. They're like, how was your day? You're like, it's like, yeah, whatever. I go home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I learned the coolest thing in history today. Did you know that this and this and this and this and this? And the thing is I know I'm learning because like the other day I was watching the news and they were talking about this book about Russian history. And we just got finished with Russian history, and it was about this guy that Stalin erased from history. And I knew who the guy was, and I knew all the history. I knew exactly what they were talking about, and I was like, I could be doing that report because I know what they're talking about.
said several times, I know, that we would not be at this place. You would not have the freedom to make a reinvention of a school system like this if we hadn't done the visioning process. What is this visioning process, and what has it meant to the school district?
The visioning process was really laying down a blueprint of what was the field that the Alameda Unified School District was going to play on and how we were going to go forward. I wasn't here with the original vision. I probably came to Alameda because of the visioning and because of the graduate profile.
I can't forget that session at the Claremont where the consensus was so strong when we all came together. We had broken into these, I don't know how many groups, because there were like over
5 or 6 groups, yeah.
Yeah, and we had all come to the same place. When we sorted it out, there were these key points that said to us that we had to address, looking at how teachers function as facilitators, how students were learners, how the whole community was a learning community.
And that's where we're sitting today, really, is what was on that paper, what was on the minds and hearts of those people at that point, is now sitting here is a reality of it.
We're preparing these kids for the next millennium. And they gotta live in that environment, world, and it's a very different world than we grew up in. And so I think we're moving, and we should always have this debate about how fast, how slow.
These are the kids who, you're right, are going to be graduates of the 21st century, and given their life expectancy and their futures and careers and what their hopes and dreams are going to be in the year 2050, 2060, 2080 is where they're going to be realizing it. And what they're doing now is providing that foundation for them to be able to make those kind of connections and be successful.
You also have to work in a lot of teams. That way you get all these different life skills. You work together, you learn how to deal with all kinds of different learners.
When you're
in a group and you're a hands-on type of learner and someone else is a visual learner and someone else is learning from what they hear, you all have to learn to work together. And that's something that
it can
really
be hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's stress here. So that's like a
yeah.
major thing that you have to learn how to do.
We'll be good business people.
I started teaching here 10 years ago, and that was a deliberate choice on my part. I really liked what I saw in this district. It was a small district, and it was very innovative even at that time 10 years ago, and the teachers I met were really enthusiastic. And then coming to this program, which I did this last year when it started, for me was an outgrowth of all of that. All of that innovation and creativity that was going on in the district really was summed up in this project here at the Community Learning Center.
We get put with a lot of freedom, and with that comes a lot of responsibility, and we have to deal with it. We have to organize it ourselves, and it's all on us basically, and we have the choice to go. We have the potential to go really far with it, or we can not do anything with it. It's our choice. It's what we want to do, and most of us has chosen to soar, so it's been pretty cool.
This is like a prototype of what schools might be like in the future, and I think that they should make more of them and let other kids have the experiences that we did.
It'll change your whole learning abilities, And so I want everybody to get a chance to come here. So I'd love to help after I leave or after I graduate. I'd love to help people, figure out some ways to get this thing, spread out over the country.
When I was at an official year.
The notion that every year about 25 students leave and 25 students enter becomes a living system. When the bell rings in June, it's not the end of school. And what that means is that this center carries on, and everyone who's a participant in it has a stake in it. And as a result, because they know it's going to live forever, they want to make it better. And they become stewards of the school instead of mere students of the school. And this is really the most profound change, because that's what calls forth the desire and the inspiration to make it better.
Ownership of the system.
And that's what it means to be a citizen.